Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. A quick update here on Enjin and Efinity, actually, to be fair. Guys, I wanted to just emphasize a couple of points before we go into the chart. So Efinity is one of the key projects of Enjin in terms of the tokenomics and everything. But for me, the interesting part is the relation to things like Polkadot and Kusama. So they're obviously one of the key projects trying to push for a parachain mechanism with the Polkadot network. So of course, we covered in a couple of videos ago that Polkadot are looking to hopefully potentially launch these parachains in the next maybe even the next few weeks. So I'm really hoping I don't actually hold EFI, by the way, I hold Enjin, but EFI token I'm just waiting maybe for a bit of a better position. We'll go into that in a minute on the chart, but I know where gaming is going and I know where blockchain is taking gaming. And I think Parachain technology through Polkadot will be absolutely phenomenal for this token. And I think, in my opinion, this is what's going to take gaming to that next level. Where we're talking about like VR and everything, that's a great concept. But to have the actual platform integrated, we talk about the NFT side of things many times on gaming videos that we do. Taking the interoperability aspect of NFTs. So you take your skin or your character or your items to a multitude of different games, different worlds, different levels, as and when you please. That's the beauty of decentralized gaming. You're not consisting to one simple law of centralized gaming, where if you've got Call of Duty and you've got a piece of clothing or whatever, you can't take that to another game, right? Unless maybe potentially it's on the same sort of software, but I don't know any game that does that. So decentralized allows you to essentially keep hold of these items, but still wander around as your own avatar and whatever, and then go into the different arenas that you're trying to do, but taking all your stuff with you. Okay, and that's when there's a big project going on at the moment with like SDKs and coding of gaming, where that's going to be allowed to happen, because obviously gamers and developers need to talk to each other, but in order for it to actually work, you need to be used on systems we talk about like bPro and things like that for the coding aspect and the JavaScript, but also things like Enjin in terms of the NFT tokenomics of being able to buy and sell, utilize the gaming platform in that kind of system. And you've got things like with Polkadot, of course, with their massive project of a chain, and EFI trying to be one of the first, I think it's 100, isn't it? I think on the Parachains, one of the first 100 to be allocated essentially what kind of like a grant of being utilized on the Parachain infrastructure. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I truly believe this is the key stepping stone to taking us to the decentralized gaming aspect. Okay, the ability to bridge games, to bridge content and items within that, the minting, the creation, the melting of NFT tokenization. And just taking gaming to that next level, like that full-on Ready Player One emphasis. That's what I truly believe is going to occur. Not immediately. This is going to take a few more years, of course, of development. But we've seen things like Decentraland, and Sandbox that have the key transitional fundamentals to create an original foundation of a system. But then you've got things like Seek VR, which is bringing that sort of entertainment aspect, but also the enjoyment side of things. And then you've got things like Network that we put in terms of actually manually developing the own world that you're within, or creating your own world to however you want it to be. And I think that's amazing. But for all of it to work, it all needs to be kind of on a blockchain system. And certainly from the aspect of being able to transition items and things, this is where I think the Parachain and the emphasis of Efinity utilizing Enjin's power as well, this is where it's going to take us, cross-chain bridging, basically, within like a gaming society and a tokenization society. So I'm really interested in this, how this will develop, but looking forward to seeing the news hopefully in a few weeks. And if Efinity is indeed one of those that's applied through the Parachain system as one of its first projects. So let's keep an eye on that. But yeah, very much around the Para tokens. Of course, Kusama is massive as well. It's just great to be involved and invested in these projects so early. And people look, well, actually, I'll tell you what, let's look at the chart right now. We'll first start with Enjin. Please smash that like button if you're enjoying the content that you're hearing or seeing. Guys, so Enjin has had a bit of a downtime. Before we go into the actual analysis of the chart, I just want to emphasize, like, I think these prices are still ridiculously low compared to where it's going to be in the future. In this run, I think over the next few months, we could probably try to push towards that $8 mark, that $10 mark, in my opinion. We did get some good traction before. I think we got as high as $2.78, was it? Way back here, in some big movements here on the 27th of May, and then we had the catastrophe across a multitude of different markets, of course. But I think more and more people are getting aware of Enjin and its capabilities, specifically in the gaming arena, and especially the NFTs as well. It's an absolutely fantastic platform for all of that. But here we are with this kind of chart area right now, and I think as of now, of course, yes, we could look at hindsight aspects and say, well, to be honest, I got all my engines so long ago. I don't even think the chart goes back as far as when I did get it, but it was certainly a low price point. So it's good gains from my side. But if you're new to Enjin or you're trying to understand it, I mean, go and check our intro videos and stuff anyway on that, which we'll leave a link to at the end. But my point here is that, yes, we've had some good moves, some corrections here. So we're already in the sort of quarter or towards the middle phase of the next big rise up to try and push us past the all-time high and into more price discovery modes in towards that sort of November, December time. And people always ask me, like, oh, when's a good time to buy in or whatever. And I think, well, you've got to look at it in two ways. You've got to look at it as, like, if you look at some analysis, not just our video, go and check out some other ones as well, not necessarily like price predictions, but the actual analysis of why do you think it's going to go near those marks. And also behind the project, what has the project got in its roadmap and the strategies behind that? And do you think in your mind that would take it to new levels, especially with the FOMOing in, the hyperinflation and things like that, of course, is part of that, as well as the organic growth and the project itself with announcements and things like this. There's an accumulation of variables that affect pricing up and down, etc., of course. So we've had the correction. We're on our kind of middle ground here of moving our way up, in my opinion. But this in my sense of my mind is always still a good position to be purchasing Enjin, both from a short-term gain perspective in terms of the next few months, and especially in the long-term future. We will look back at these prices and they will be next to being laughable, in my opinion. And I think, of course, always try to look for dips and everything like that if you can. And we're seeing that kind of right now. I think this area is of uniqueness. We did put this buy box in last night. I was actually doing this video last night, and as you know, some of you know, our microphone situation was a bit shocking. So hopefully the audio is a lot better for you guys now. Let us know if it needs to be reduced or heightened a bit, or I try and listen back and it sounds okay to me. But anyway, off topic. So we've got this buy entry point here just in case around this 150 mark. We have had a few touchdowns in this area a few days ago, and certainly back here on the 2nd of October. So it's a good touch point because actually if you look historically, there's quite a few good areas of interest around these particular points on the chart. So this is quite an interesting area for me if you're new to Enjin. Let's say you've never heard of them and you've done a bit of research there, whatever, and today might be a good choice or chance for you to get involved. I think this could be a good opportunity, or even where it is right now, to be honest, before we start seeing another tail up, trying to attack that 164 mark again and then pushing up to this. And again, I've drawn another previous kind of area of interest here around this 179, 180 mark, just because of the previous touch points in the historic data of this chart. So once we get to this area, I do anticipate a bit of resistance here again, but let's get this area completed first. I think what's happening here is we're getting confirmation that 148 is kind of our new support area, and now we're looking to try and achieve this 155 mark. So just keep an eye on that. And a couple of other observations here. The buy-in mentality is kind of slowly tailing off here. The MACD is still in a bullish kind of area here, but it is narrowing. So just be cautious, and that's why I think we could dip down into this area before a nice tail up, maybe in a week or two's time. The RSI is bang on the middle, so it is kind of indicating really that we are in that middle aspect of the chart. And I think it's just something that we need to keep an eye on and just be wary of, because if you look here, for example, we've had this nice height area here around the 224 back in the 6th of September. We've had a very nice correction in my opinion. We've had a nice tail up. There's going to be profits taken, there's no doubt about that. I don't anticipate it to come all the way back down here, but it is potentially a possibility. In fact, I'm going to draw this as a potential area of interest, just slightly lower than the one we've already drawn, around this 143 mark. So let's keep an eye on that, because we could tail down, and that, I always say we can see maybe between 30 and 70% in a major correction, but usually 30% in general is quite a good move downwards before we correct ourselves. So that is arguably saying that it would come down to around here. I don't think that's possible. I think 20% is usually quite a nice indicator, so there could be an opportunity around this 140 mark here before we tail off and then jump back up again over the coming weeks. So let's keep that in mind, guys. But like I said, Enjin for me is a fantastic project, as well as Efinity is as well. And with this Parachain on the horizon, this could be what takes us up to new levels, in my opinion, once the announcements get put out there, if it gets selected, of course. But for me, in general, these are great prices for the future. And there's certainly good opportunities for the future in terms of the next few months as well. Let us know in the comments below if you're holding ENJ or EFI on your platforms, and we will appreciate those, and always comment back and get your feedback on any of these kind of things. Let's look at EFI quickly before we wrap this video up. Of course, we had the launch earlier this year, and naturally what you see is a general pattern of a downward trend here. It doesn't look amazing, of course, but what you've got to anticipate is that at some point this will start getting a support mechanism, of which we might even be finding quite soon, actually, because actually if you look at this short-term data, we've had some levels of stepping down here, but this is kind of reducing now, and we're starting to see finally some higher lows, albeit not a massive difference between 70 and 73, of course, but it is showing some good momentum here. And can we get some support mechanism around this 80-cent mark? That would be absolutely fantastic. In order for us to do that, we need really a kind of 2 or 3 day progression mark around of support mechanism around this area for us to then start pushing back up again. But like I said, with the Parachain information or potential opportunity, this could take us to really good levels. In terms of an investment position, again, none of this is financial advice, of course, but for me personally, anything kind of like 40 or below is a really good entry point, in my opinion. Of course, it would be nice to get some at this 30 mark, but you never really know fully where the lower ends are unless you're looking at some longer term data as well. We try and get ours to around 14 days because that's quite a good area of interest in terms of movements, but we're very much under all of these moving averages that we've got here, the 50, 100. Well, obviously we wouldn't have the longer term ones because it's not that old, but the anticipation here is that this is actually a very good undervalued project right now, and I think it will definitely take off more and more as we get the development of Enjin and the development potentially of the Parachain partnership as well. So it's something to consider. Do go check out our intro videos, as I mentioned before, if you want more information on how the tokenomics work and this, that and the other. But I think this is a good chance to jump in. There might be a bounce off here around the 13th of October, which is very slowly widening that gap again of the bullish momentum kicking in. So I think, like I said, it's about this 80-cent mark and trying to push ourselves up higher and higher. Let us know what you think. Are you holding either EFI or ENJ in your portfolio? Really interested to know. And what's your projections for the end of year price predictions for both of these? We'll stick them in the chart. Nearest person to it at the end of the year potentially gets to win a nano ledger. And guys, hopefully that's been quite informative for you guys, and we're looking forward to covering these projects more and more in the future, and definitely keeping an eye on the aspect of that potential Parachain launch. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Enjin and EFI Efinity update. Goodbye.